Hey there, welcome into the show. Happy Tuesday to everybody. You're watching Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and we have a loaded show coming up. First, Daryl Morey got a steal with this player who has been playing very well for Philadelphia to start the 2024-2025 season. And also coming up here on the show, a new Joel Embiid return date has been revealed. Sixers need him. When could he come back? Stay tuned to find out. Tough loss last night for Philadelphia on the road against a good Suns team that is now 6-1. I liked how the Sixers played. Unfortunately, KD hits that big shot in Paul George's debut with Philadelphia, and the Sixers go down once again. But we can get the good vibes going here. We can be the reason the Sixers turn the season around. So if you want the Sixers to get back on track, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's start the show. We start off with that steal for general manager Daryl Morey. Highway robbery right here. And I remember when myself and Chip, following the Olympics, were talking about the possibility of Philadelphia signing Guerschon Yabusele and taking him away from his team overseas so that he could be a part of an NBA team, specifically with Philadelphia. And we talked about how he played in the Olympics for Team France, how his game could translate to the NBA level. And to start this year, he's honestly been tremendous for this Sixers team. This is a player that Philadelphia got in August for a minimum. And when we did that original show, I had said, I hope Daryl Morey is looking at what he's doing. This is a Sixers team that needs some size. He can play the 4, he can play the 5, he can knock down the 3, he can defend, and he has pedigree. He was a first-round pick by the Boston Celtics, needed to lose weight, needed to get better and improve his game. He did that overseas, and we're seeing the elements of that with this Sixers squad. So far this year, he's playing 21 minutes per game. Nick Nurse clearly trusting him, and he's averaging 9 points per game, 4 rebounds, just under 3 assists, 45% from the field, 39% from 3. Diverse, versatile player who's made his impact be felt on both sides of the floor, and he's really been a revelation. High basketball IQ, versatile player. The outside shot right now is falling, which is great. Hopefully that continues and it's sustainable. He plays hard at all times, like he always has something to prove because he's fighting for his NBA life. And he had a career night against Phoenix. 19 points in 30 minutes, 7 boards. We know that Philadelphia has been struggling on the glass. 6 dimes, 6 of 14 from the floor, 5 of 11 from 3. Sometimes they use him at the top of the key as that dribble handoff guy, that pick and popper, the pick and roller. And Andre Drummond, on the other hand, really struggled. And the returns on him, a little bit mixed to start this year. He played only 15 minutes. And the Sixers, they don't keep it close without Yabusele. So without Joel Embiid, you have Andre Drummond, who's been a little bit disappointing so far this year in moments. But then Yabusele is helping them make up for some of that disappointment. And last night, he's hitting big shot after big shot. And Chip, this is a Sixers team that had a chance to win that game late. We know Paul George's bad mistake there. He thought that he had to take a 2 instead of taking a 3. All that being said, Yabusele helped them to remain in that ball game. And all year, the sample size, very impressed with what he's been able to do.
Yeah, look, it was a question mark coming into the year. Can he do what he did overseas in the NBA? And look, early on, playing the small ball 5, he's been really, really good. Is he a little undersized there at times? Sure. But he makes up for it with how strong he is, how big he is, how much he hustles. I mean, every single play he is fighting for a loose ball, boxing somebody out, diving on the floor, fighting for an offensive rebound, playing good defense against the likes of Kevin Durant last night. Like, he really has been pretty much everything we could have asked for up to this point. And the cherry on top is he's shooting almost 40% from 3. And he went through a stretch last night where he hit like 2 in a row. He was getting hot, helping the Sixers. I think they got up to like a 9-point lead late in that game. Of course, they eventually blew that lead, but he was a big reason why, despite Andre Drummond struggling, they were still able to stay in that game because he was fighting down there at small ball center against, Yusuf Nurkic and Plumlee on the Phoenix Suns. So, look, to get a player like this who's a real impact player in your rotation, someone I think, even when Joel Embiid comes back, we'll see what Nurse does. Does he move Yabusele to the 4? Does he not feel comfortable playing Yabusele at the 4? Does he keep him at the 5? And then do we see more of split minutes between Drummond and Yabusele? It's going to be very interesting to see what he decides to do there once Joel Embiid does come back. But I think regardless of what Nick Nurse sees his role as, he absolutely deserves minutes and deserves to stay in this rotation. Because again, they're not in that game last night down the stretch, I don't think, without his play, without his big-time shot making. He's just proven he deserves to be an NBA player, really at this level, which is great to see considering he was out of the league for so many years. So good stuff here. Good stuff from Morey, getting a guy who's making a real impact on a minimum contract that any team could have picked up at any moment. So a great sign, and despite the struggles so far, at least some positives have come out of this bad start here for the 76ers.
Yeah, one thing too, the word that we mentioned with Yabusele is the versatility. Even when Joel Embiid comes back, that's a player who can play alongside Joel Embiid and I think make an impact on both ends. So should the Sixers start Guerschon Yabusele? S for start, B for bench. Should he take the place of Andre Drummond while Joel Embiid is still getting that knee right? Let us know down in the comment section. Another tough loss for Philadelphia. But coming up, there were some positive developments in Paul George's debut with the Sixers, and Embiid's return could right the ship. Today's sponsor, our friends at DraftKings once again, the best sportsbook in the game with the best deal, where if you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. All you have to do is use that code SixersChat. The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets that you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. As for Chip's picks, plus 410 right here. Sixers got to beat the Clippers, right? Let's go Sixers money line. Philadelphia Clippers over 219. Could be some offense in that game. Paul George revenge game. Clippers didn't want to keep him. He goes off, knocks off the rust against the Suns, comes through against the Clips, and then the Philadelphia 76ers race to 10. Plus 410. Use that code SixersChat. Bet $5, get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Joel Embiid's return. We've been waiting. As 50 Cent would say, patiently waiting. And reports indicate that Embiid could return on Wednesday against the Clippers. Sam Amick of The Athletic. The hope, as team sources shared Monday, is that Embiid could play as soon as Wednesday's game against the Clippers, unless he's suspended by them. He recently began practicing in 5-on-5 action, worked out extensively before the game against the Suns, and is expected to take part in individual workouts Tuesday in LA, and that will set the stage for what comes next. Barring a setback, it seems likely there is an end in sight here very soon. Thankfully, that is going to be the case, barring any setback. I mean, this Sixers team has been very difficult to watch. At first, they were so Tyrese Maxey reliant because they had to be. Nobody else really stepping up. And you could see that the Sixers were missing both PG and Embiid. Paul George comes back. He's a little bit rusty. Look at how much different the Sixers looked against what has been one of the top teams in the Western Conference to start this year. You get Embiid back, and we get the full semblance of a team that has championship aspirations, championship potential, and a team that when they are 100% healthy, I do think they can be one of the top teams in the NBA. To start the year, they have been a very difficult team to watch, offensively, defensively, and Joel Embiid obviously helps you a lot there on both ends. So, could the Sixers be on the rise with him coming back? They started to play a little bit better as of late. I do think that this team could turn it around. It is a long season, so don't overly panic right now in hitting that panic button. Some positive signs that we saw against Phoenix. The ball movement, so much better. Offensive possessions were far less stagnant. At times, prior to that game against Phoenix, you're like, are we watching a James Harden team where he just dribbles and can't shoot for 22 seconds of the 24-second shot clock? The Sixers entering Monday, 16 assists per game, last in the NBA. Assists against Phoenix, 27 on 40 made shots. So that's plus 11 in that category, and it resulted in more offense and more buckets. Positive sign number 2, Tyrese Maxey had more space to create. By far his most efficient game of the year, and you could certainly tell in the first half he felt a lot more comfortable, and the efficiency was a byproduct of that, and throughout the game you certainly saw that because his shooting numbers this year have been abysmal up until that Suns tilt. 32 points against Phoenix, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. You want to see him do more outside of scoring, but he's still having to manufacture so many points. But 12 of 22, good sign there from the field. 3-point numbers, still a little bit lackluster, 6 of 14 from 3, but I do think those numbers and those averages are going to even out a little bit. And Paul George's presence was enough just to open up the floor for Tyrese Maxey to create for himself and others. You put that type of player on the wing, it frees up some driving lanes. As for Paul George, rusty, but he showed his talent. And he showed his talent defensively, offensively. How about the finish that he had where he kind of twirled up in the air, threw it up, got the and one? His stats against the Suns in 31 minutes. So he played 31 minutes, and you expect those minutes per game to be on the uptick too as he gets more acclimated. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The field goal numbers will come around. 4 of 14, 1 of 7 from 3. He missed the potential game-tying shot down 2. He admitted that he thought the Sixers were down by 1. How do you not know what the scoreboard is when you have the last possession and he had that last shot? That's why he took the deuce instead of the triple, but he created space. Little step back there. The shot was open. He just couldn't knock it down. But his first game back, he's going to shoot better, and it's good to have another shot creator out there. You add Embiid to the equation, and everybody's going to get some more looks, including those 3 stars, your 3 max players, but the others who share the floor with them. And then point number 4, positive sign number 4, the threes finally falling in that game. It helped that Guerschon Yabusele was kind of cooking, but the last 2 games, we have this sample size here, which is pretty good. Against Memphis, Philadelphia, 19 of 46 from deep, 41+% from long range, and then against the Suns, 20 of 51, 39.2% from downtown. That continues, and I think it will. Chip, I think we'll see the Sixers team start to turn the corner a little bit more.
Yeah, it was just so nice to see this team actually play real basketball on Monday, because before that, you said it was really, really tough to watch this team play, especially offensively, just so disjointed, no movement, a lot of ISO, not a lot of clean looks. I saw an interesting stat as well that Paul George had registered on his 16 drives in that game last night, 10 passes off those 16 drives. That's already 2 more passes out of drives than Kelly Oubre has had all season long. And the Sixers, 30% of their field goal attempts were deemed wide open. That's way larger than it's been throughout the first few games of the season. So they're just getting better looks. They're hitting more threes now, which was a real struggle for them coming into really that game against Memphis, and they started to hit a few more in these past 2 games. And now, with Embiid coming back, of course, we have to see what happens with a possible suspension looming. It'd be so typical Sixers if he's finally back healthy, ready to play, and then all of a sudden, boom, 5-game suspension. But I know they lost, and it's frustrating. Trust me, I know it's very, very frustrating that they're now 1-5 on the season. And look, you don't want to get into a deep hole, 1-8, 1-9. That's hard to come back out of.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen and what I saw from this team Monday specifically, there's good signs. This was a very, very good Suns team. They have one loss on the year that the Sixers took down to the wire in Phoenix. So once they have everybody back, Embiid back in the fold, Paul George starts to play a few more games. Some of these role players are playing really, really good ball. Of course, you have Tyrese Maxey hooping as well. This is still a championship-worthy team, and they're going to have to win a lot of games to try to get back up to that, 1, 2, 3 seed. But there's only 2 teams in the East right now that are above 500.
Yeah.
It's the Cavs and the Celtics. Everybody else is 500 or worse. So it's obviously still wide open, still very, very early. And I like what I've seen from this team, despite the adversity and the injuries and all this going on. Once they get everybody back, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference.
And look, long season, we're going to continue to harp on that. The Sixers can't dig themselves too deep of a hole, but the East wide open. Celtics, Cavs, they have been cooking admittedly to start this year, but everybody else is kind of starting slow too. And you see that being the case in the East. You see that being the case in the West. Look, it's early November here. Still plenty of time to get the ball rolling, and you don't want to peak early anyway. So how confident are you in the Sixers roster? Scale it 1 to 10. Be honest with us. Thanks for watching. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.